I just got back from a road trip to Austria. 2,000 miles and I'm still in the post-vacation trauma. But you know what else I've always not liked about vacations? Well, usually you like to document them, take pictures, save your memories. However, for me, this means taking the camera with us and, well, everything else that comes with it. Eventually, it's so much random stuff I have to carry that it starts feeling more like a job. So I thought iPhones are good, right? So maybe it can replace all of this? On our first day, we had a 7-hour drive ahead of us, so we left pretty early because we wanted to explore the city once we arrived. But it being winter and with occasional stops for energy drinks, fuel and whatnot, the drive was a bit longer than what we expected. So when we arrived at around 3 p.m., it was already starting to get dark, though we still had some light left and I managed to snap some incredible pictures of mountains on the 8X telephoto. I actually couldn't believe this came out of an iPhone. Anyway, before we left to the city, we had some fun in the snow for a bit, but all the tomfoolery got us hungry, so we stopped at a pure Bavarian kitchen, where the vibe was immaculate. It was pretty much a tavern with some true Bavarian sausages and beer, but don't ask me what my girlfriend ordered. It's basically some soup with a vegan meatball, though she said it was very tasty, so I guess. Again, I was amazed with the camera quality, especially given the low light scenario. The details are impressive and the lack of a usual iPhone post-processing on the 17 Pro is genuinely refreshing. It's one of the most noticeable upgrades this year, honestly. That said, after we were done eating, it was already dark outside, so we just had a walk through the night city, bought some snacks and went home to get some much-needed sleep. Day 2 was supposed to be ski day, and as any responsible adult would do, we slept in. Also, on the way to the mountain, it started snowing real heavy. The road was barely visible, so it slowed us up even more. So much so, actually, that we arrived with just an hour left before closing and got denied an entry. So, no skiing, but I still got one of my favorite pictures of this trip. The falling snow not only made it cinematic as hell, but made me realize how crazy fast the shutter speed has got. The iPhone actually froze the snow mid-fall without any mushy blur, and by the way, look at that foreground blur, like, that's actually kind of crazy for a thought. Anyway, the car might have looked fire, but driving in the snow with rear-wheel drive was, yeah, kind of fun, kind of not. It took me 10 minutes just to get out of a parking lot, though later at night I may or may not have had some fun, allegedly. That said, we didn't want the day to be ruined, so we stuck to the plan and found a nice skating spot in the city of Salzburg where we headed next. I even managed to take one of my favorite pictures of this trip on the way there. But the city itself was genuinely breathtaking too. It was a joy to explore. Also, the snow just made everything look even better. Though, eventually we got tired of exploring and went ice skating. For me, it was basically new, like, I've done it once, but my girlfriend looked like she belonged there. Safe to say she got her fair share of fun, but so did I. Though partly that was because of the iPhone, like I would have not stepped a foot on ice had I been carrying my camera with me. Also, the video quality was kind of insane, especially given the low amount of light we had. And the stabilization too. Like, to get this kind of stable footage, I'd have to have a whole assembly on my Sony camera, whereas the iPhone not only delivered on the footage, but also made it possible to have it at all and not miss on the fun itself, worrying about a camera's safety. Also, this was one of the most intense days of shooting and the battery life genuinely surprised me. Like, I got 5 hours of screen on time with 40% battery left, while shooting all day, mind you, and that also being unlocked for video and RAW for photos. Compared to last gen, this is some Pro Max battery level in a smaller Pro. Though I have to mention that I had a small MagSafe power bank with me for the day, however I only charged like 20% from it, so it would have genuinely been fine without it too. That said, I also had an SSD with me to record log footage too, because the native camera app doesn't let you record log in anything but ProRes, which weighs a ton, and I refuse to use anything over than the native camera app, because that just adds a stupid amount of fiddling with settings, which is exactly what I didn't want to do, and why I left the camera at the hotel to begin with. By the way, if you want any of the accessories shown in the video, the links will be down, and I actually made a whole video about the most useful iPhone accessories. I'd be glad if you check that out too. Anyway, ice skating got us hungry as hell, and we were craving some Greek kitchen this time. And I'm glad we did land on this choice, because the food was insanely good. Low-key, this was the best meal of the trip. My girlfriend also somehow managed to get a gift, which she couldn't resist sharing with this dude outside. That said, it was already dark outside, and we were pretty tired, so we headed out to rest and get ready for the next day. The next day was December 31st, so we took it slow. We had a restaurant reserved and basically spent most of the day there, just talking and ordering drinks. Food wasn't great though, but it was comfortable. Also, again, I feel like a broken record saying this, but I was amazed by the detail and big camera look that the iPhone had. Genuinely, this made me happy I didn't have the big camera with me, because carrying all that weight and worrying about losing it is the last thing I'd want on the New Year's Eve. After hours of talking, the city had turned into New Year's mode, so we ended up in the middle of everything, where there happened to be a concert that kept us entertained until the fireworks came out. Though I can't say they were really impressive. I was actually more impressed by the low-light footage I was getting from the iPhone, but that's just me, I guess. My girlfriend seemed to have enjoyed it a lot. What I was excited about though was the upcoming day, because not only was it packed, but it also included Koenigsee, which was my personal goal for this trip. Before the lake, we took the funicular up, which was hella pricey, but the view was immaculate, so I wasn't too mad about it. Especially that when we eventually got up, it just kept getting better. Like, check out this shot. And here's another one. And by the way, one of these is taken with my Sony camera, but can you tell which one it is? Anyway, with us being at the top, we decided to climb the mountains and take some more pictures. And this is where I really started realizing how close the iPhone has gotten to a proper camera. And not only with landscapes, which are easy to make look good, but also portraits. Everything just looks camera-like. Like, the amount of detail is actually crazy, and the subtle shallow depth of field just sells it that much more. Also, the RAW files are crazy flexible, especially for a smartphone. I wasn't limited by anything during editing. It was genuinely not any different than editing a RAW file from my Sony. That said, another benefit was that the iPhone is familiar, so my girlfriend was also able to take pictures of me too, which is rare because usually I'm behind the camera fiddling with settings, but since the iPhone is a straight point and shoot camera, she didn't have any issues using it. That alone made the trip feel more like an actual vacation than a job. Also, the selfie camera was stupid good. It even has shallow depth of field, which is crazy, though it could be better in the shadows. That said, the golden hours started to show and I absolutely wanted to capture the lake, so we started climbing back down. As soon as we got to the lake, I managed to snap this insane picture, but it's a shame that Lightroom decided to delete the original for some reason, so I've only got a low-res version of it. But that's okay, because I got one more in the blue hour, which you can see how much sharper it is, though it's not as scenic unfortunately. But over Czar, the lake is so sick that it's just banger after banger after banger. It actually genuinely breaks my brain that these are all taken on an iPhone. Like, look at the details, even the moon is clear. It almost feels unfair compared to my Sony camera. Also, while we're at it, the one thing I noticed this year is that every single lens choice between 1 and 8x is basically at camera quality level. The 1x was already insanely good. After all, it's been the same since the 14 Pro and they haven't felt the need to upgrade it. But the size bump in the telephoto lens really brought it up in quality to the main lens, and given that these two lenses give the most zoom choices, it's a really welcome change. Though I can't say the same about the 0.5x lens. It needs substantially more light, otherwise it just looks dark, mushy and smeared, especially around the corner. It's a cool lens if you want to have a wider picture, but it produces the most phone-looking pictures, which breaks the whole narrative. So I genuinely avoided it as much as I could. Also video, and I'm gonna go as far as to say that it's better than my Sony, and please hear me out. With the iPhone, you just press record and have all the lens choices a tap away without having to swap or carry anything. And the stabilization is ridiculous, something you'll never get out of a camera handheld. And since it shoots log, you can grade it properly and get rid of that baked-in, over-sharpened and oversaturated phone look. Like, I'm sure if I told you this was taken on my Sony camera, most of you would say that this checks out, and that's pretty much as good as a smartphone camera can get. Not to mention, again, that this is just a single device in your pocket that doesn't require to carry any lenses or know any settings. It just lets you be in the moment while simultaneously not miss out on sick shots and memories. Also, the workflow was stupidly convenient. I could take a photo, edit it right on my phone, and then it was ready to be posted. I didn't come home to thousands of files on my SD card and needing to spend weeks to sort it out and then edit, which honestly was one of the biggest reliefs on this road trip. So it's safe to say that moving forward, I will not be taking my camera with me anymore for any future vacations, and that doesn't even sound like a crazy statement to me. I genuinely didn't miss on a single moment by leaving the camera in the bag. If anything, I gained moments, because in the end, the whole point wasn't to bring the best camera, it was actually to be there and live in the moment.